I see almost all my friends and family and the rest of the population literally living paycheck to paycheck. I know nurses that are working 12, 18-hour shifts and they can't afford to make their car payment. I know teachers that are stressed out that like are barely making it by. I got friends that have like 2-income households that are really struggling. I spoke with a friend just now. I'll call him JB. JB is in the medical industry, and I would assume JB makes between 100 and 300,000 household, maybe him and his wife combined. And he told me that he's essentially living paycheck to paycheck, right? And he doesn't understand why. I've had a few other of my friends reach out too that are also struggling. I kind of have figured out a way not to struggle. If you want to know the key to not struggling, you have to open up your own business, period. You can literally start your own business, keep your job, that way there's no risk, and you can participate in a lot of things that we'll call them the rich people do, right? So there's a meme going around on Facebook. I'll get into it. This meme goes around and it says like the biggest lie, you know, you pay taxes on your paycheck and then you pay personal property tax and you pay sales tax and you get taxed to death. So that's true for the general public. But when you see people like, we'll say like Jeff Bezos, dude makes millions and millions of dollars a year, right? And then you see he doesn't pay any taxes and it pisses you off. You're like, why is this rich guy not paying any taxes? Well, because he's not getting paid like you, the general population, are. Okay, so when you go to work, you get paid a W-2. So essentially you're going to work and you're getting your taxes taken out up front by the Human Resource Department every 2 weeks. And then you're going out and you're spending, you know, your money on utilities, car payments, insurance, gas, all that kind of stuff, right? So the difference between a normal person that does that and somebody who's kind of more financially free is a business owner will get paid first, pay for all of his expenses, and what's left over, that business owner will pay taxes on. But he won't pay it every 2 weeks like a normal person. He'll pay it 15 months later, so to speak. What I mean by that is like, I own a business. I don't have a job anymore. I'm what you would consider jobless. So when I work in January, from January to December, I don't pay taxes like a normal person. When I do my business taxes at the end of the year, that's when I figure out what I owe the government. And you should always pay your taxes because you don't want to go to jail. But it's not like that for people that work a normal job. So you work your normal job, you work 2 weeks, Human Resources takes the taxes out, and then you get what's left over. And then what's left over, then you go out and you pay for your cell phone and your gas and your insurance. Okay, there's a way easier way, way better way to do it than that, but you have to start your own business. I used to think starting my own business meant that I had to go buy a building, get products, turn into an Uber salesman, do all this shit that I didn't want to do and work all my life away. You don't have to do that. All a business is a document. That's it. All you have to do is obtain this document, and then you can operate as a business. So I'll give you a perfect example. My buddy Mike. Mike is a construction worker. He makes pretty good money. You know, probably makes 30, 35 bucks an hour maybe. Let's say he makes 30 on paper. Between state and federal taxes, he's going to pay 1/3. So Mike doesn't make 30 bucks an hour. He makes 20 bucks an hour. So 1/3 of his pay goes to taxes. So Mike started a powder coating business out of his garage. And I say started a business loosely because, to my knowledge, he hasn't incorporated yet. So he's not really a business, and he's missing out. So here's how Mike, a normal guy, construction worker, can make way more money simply by paying way less taxes. He can go on mo.gov, Missouri.gov, and say, I want to start a business. LLC is the easiest one to start. Limited liability corporation. An LLC protects you from, you know, if you were to get sued, somebody can't take your house, all your shit, right? So all Mike, as this powder coater, needs to do is go on mo.gov, start his own business, say, I want to start an LLC, I want to be Mike's Powder Coating. He'll file the paperwork. I think the fee is not much, it's probably less than $100. He'll get what's called an EIN number. So EIN number stands for Employer Identification Number. Think of it like a Social Security number. Like I have my own Social Security number, as do you, I would assume. And me as a business owner, I also have an EIN number, which is my Employer Identification Number. So I actually operate as two different individuals. Once Mike gets his EIN number, then he can do a lot of things. Mike's house is about 2,000 square feet. The shop he works out of, his garage, is about 1,000 square feet. So 1/3 of his property would be used for his business. So what does that mean? That means Mike gets a home office deduction, and because his business, where he's operating his garage, is 1/3 of his property, now all of his utilities become tax deductible, 1/3. So what do I mean by that? So his electricity bill he pays for the whole year, 1/3 of that is now tax deductible. His gas bill, water bill, sewer bill, trash bill, all those, everything he pays, thousands of dollars in utilities, 1/3 of that is now a tax deduction. So that's not all Mike's going to get once he incorporates. Mike operates on Facebook. I'll probably share a link if he wants me to his powder coating business. He's fantastic at it. So Mike needs the internet to advertise. So now his whole internet bill is a tax deduction. Mike needs a cell phone. So now his whole cell phone bill is now a tax deduction. Mike needs tools. All his tools he buys are going to be a tax deduction. Mike's got to have clothes to do this powder coating job. So any work clothes he buys under the company's name is now a tax deduction. If Mike decides to buy a new truck, it's a tax deduction, tax write-off. Most of you guys aren't familiar with tax deductions because you don't get them. If you're a W-2 employee, like say you're married, Mike's married, he gets a deduction for being married. His kids are out of the house, so he gets no child deduction. So that's basically his only deduction, is he's married. So he pays taxes on literally everything else. And he pays them like normal W-2 employees pay. He works, Human Resources takes out 1/3 and sends it off to the government. And then with his 2/3 of his paycheck, then he's got to buy all this shit for his business. All right? He shouldn't do that. He should start a business. And all the businesses is incorporating. Basically, you go on mo.gov and you say, I want to start a business. Here's the name. Loosely, this is what I'm going to do. And then now you're a business. So now what happens is Mike can play the game from both sides. Mike's powder coating business isn't big enough for him to quit his job and support his family on a powder coating business. Not yet. So here's what he's going to do. He's going to work his normal job and work his powder coating business on nights and weekends. 1/3 of his utilities that he uses for his powder coating business is now a tax deduction. His home office, his internet, his phone, his computer, any clothes, materials, all that at the end of the year, he's going to have all those receipts, and he's going to give it to his tax guy. And let's say Mike spent $10,000 in all that stuff combined throughout the whole year. So now he's going to get $10,000 back from the government in forms of his tax deduction. So the dude didn't do anything else except for get this little piece of paper that says I own a business, and now he's got $10,000 coming back to him in taxes. So anybody can do this, right? But people don't do it mainly out of fear. They think it's old school where like, I'm going to start a restaurant, so I'm going to mortgage my house, buy a building, buy all this food, start this business, probably have it fail, and then I'm going to be living at home with my mom. But you don't have to do that anymore because everything's online. Like Mike, the example I gave you, he's powder coating, but he gains most of his customers through online advertising and referrals. Anybody can start their own business. And I think everybody should start their own business because it doesn't cost you anything. It's literally like less than $100 to start a business. And then you have that document that says now you own a business, and now you can get all those tax breaks. I'll give you another example, how anybody can start a business, right? Because it's scary to people because nobody ever taught you how to do this. Like, nobody taught me how to start a business. You know, my parents were postal workers, so they didn't know how to do it. Their parents lived in the Great Depression, so they didn't start businesses. They were just happy to get by. But we live in an age now where like everything's online. So it's really friggin' easy to just start a side hustle, and you don't even have to work that hard at it. But you'll get all the tax deductions if you have this business. I'll give you another example. Let's say you're a school teacher, and you know you're overworked and underpaid. Because the business model that everybody does, if you're a W-2 employee, I can guarantee you you're overworked and underpaid. Because by default, it has to be that way. If I own a business, if I own a plumbing business and I charge $100 an hour, I got to pay my tech $30 an hour to do the job. And then there's 70% spread, $70 spread. Now the technician's going to go, this guy's getting paid $100 an hour and I'm doing all the work while I'm only getting paid $30. Well, because he's being underpaid, and I have to do that because as a business owner, I have to pay for a lot of other things. I have to grow the business. Plus, I have to reap a profit myself, or the business goes out of business, and then the plumber doesn't have a job. So if you work a W-2, you are being overworked and underpaid, point blank, period. So there's ways around this, and it's so easy, and like you don't have to do much work at all. So school teacher, you're a school teacher. Maybe you make, let's say you're a highly paid school teacher. I don't know what they make, but let's say you make 60 grand a year. Well, 1/3 of your pay comes out in taxes. So you really only make 40 grand a year. And then you got school supplies. You need a vehicle to get to and for work. You got to buy clothes to dress up nice to teach. A lot of times teachers have to buy extra supplies. You probably need your own laptop. You probably need a cell phone because parents want to text nowadays. So none of that stuff is a tax deduction. So here's what you do if you're a school teacher. You go on wherever you're from. Say you live in Wisconsin. You go to wisconsin.gov and you sign up to be your own business, right? So what can a school teacher do as a business on the side? Well, they can tutor, right? If you're a third grade teacher, you've got a customer for life if that student likes you. When that student gets into junior high, senior high, college, and they're not good at math, you can tutor them for a fee, and that could be your business, right? Something you're already doing. You just do a little bit nights and weekends. So you're the teacher, you start an LLC, you're going to tutor students on the side. Let's say you're going to charge $15 an hour. So now, because you've incorporated, because you're an actual legitimate business and you have an EIN number, that car that you use to go to your tutoring appointments is now a tax deduction. Those clothes that you're buying to dress up nice for school that you're also using during your tutor job, that's a tax deduction. The cell phone you bought, the monthly bill you pay, the laptop you bought, the utilities, the internet that you pay every year or month, that's all tax deduction too, because you're incorporating, you own your own business. Now you still have your teaching job. You're making 60 grand a year, but you're really only bringing home 40 because they're taking all the taxes out. But now on the side, you got a little side hustle. If you tutor out of your house, you have a home office. So now a portion of all your utilities become tax deductible as well. You can get a home office deduction, like you can get all kinds of breaks. And when you own your side hustle, let's say this teacher that has a side hustle that makes $15 an hour, and let's say she works, I don't know, an extra 20 hours a week maybe. So she makes an extra $300 a week, so she can side hustle and make $15,000. Now here's the beauty part. Her 60 grand as a teacher salary gets whacked by human resources. But this $15,000 she made on the side, she's not going to pay any tax until the following year when she files her business taxes. So that $15,000, she's got it as like funny money. So she can buy her clothes, buy her laptop, buy her cell phone. Maybe she goes out to eat with some of the parents and it's a business dinner. All that stuff she can write off. So if she spends that $15,000 throughout the year on things that she needs, then her business made zero profit and she pays zero taxes. So the teacher made $15,000, got to use it for her own personal gain in her business. It didn't pay any taxes on it at all. Now, what if that teacher claims a loss? What do you mean by that, Dave? Okay, teacher made $15,000 on her side hustle tutoring, but she bought a brand new MacBook Pro, right? Spent a lot of money on it. And she bought a brand new cell phone, spent a lot of money on it. She bought really fancy clothes, and she spent a lot of money on them. And she had a lot of utility bills this year. Let's say she made 15 grand, but she spent 20. Now she's 5,000 in the hole, and the government, that's going to pass through on her tax return, and she's going to get that back from the government. It's not comprehensible until you do it, but the federal government wants you to start a business. They want you to go out there and generate revenue, so they give you tax breaks to do it. So by starting your own LLC, you get all these tax breaks that you don't get as a W-2 employee. And you can do any business. Like, pick something that you love to do. If you really like art, then start a t-shirt business. You can go on Etsy and design t-shirts, but start an Etsy business, but incorporate, and now everything you do with that business is now a tax deduction. So it's just a really easy way that like nobody does it. Like 98% of the people, what's the old saying? 2% of the population controls 98% of the wealth. Well, it's because those 2% of the population are out running businesses. They're not W-2 employees. So W-2 employees are the most highly taxed people on the planet, right? Because your taxes come out every 2 weeks. by your human resource department, and 1/3 of it's being pulled out. So start your own business, and you can start saving a lot of that money in taxes. And it makes you feel good when you start your own business and you help somebody out. You know, even if it is just making t-shirts, like that first sale is going to feel great. When that person calls you and says, hey, this t-shirt fits fantastic, and I love the saying and the little joke you put on it, like that's going to make you feel really good. So I would just encourage you to look into starting your own business. Go on whatever state you live in, register for an LLC. It's not really going to cost you anything. And because you're not quitting your job, you're just starting something else, you can't fail. And even if you did fail, you still got your regular job to fall back on. And if you do fail, you're going to have a whole lot of tax write-offs at the end of the year because you started a business that failed. So it's really a win-win, no-lose situation, in my view. The money you'll save in taxes operating under an LLC is life-changing. Anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to hop off the phone. You like my little microphone? I feel like Bob Barker here. I did a little product placement there for one of my businesses. So anyways, guys, if you want to start your own business, if you want to talk about it in private, and maybe you're a little shy, a little bashful, a little fearful, just hit me up, and I'd be happy to help you out. So have a great day, and get out there and start your own business. Actually, you don't even have to get out there. You can literally do it from your phone. Like right now, you can just go on and say to your government website and say, I want to start my own business. So I highly encourage you to do it. If you got any questions, hit me up. No charge. I just love when people start their own businesses. And Mike, buddy, I'm going to send this video to you because you've been procrastinating. So see you guys. Have a great day.